Back here inside the Adrian Tinsley Center for Game 2 of our MASCAC doubleheader. The BSU Bears taking on the Salem State Vikings. John Luck along with Caitlin Varia. And tonight's matchup featured a big problem, not just for Bridgewater State, but for the rest of the MASCAC. That problem's name is very simple. Number 23, Sean Bryan. And he's going to be the focal point here, I think, from the start.
Absolutely. And just recently, he got his 4th MASCAC Player of the Week award. He's definitely going to be someone to look out for. He's a leader in points per game and in assists and steals for the Vikings, leading them in their 10-8 record. And I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being a really big problem here for the Bears.
Last time out, back on the 8th, Bryan had 21 points, 13 assists, and 12 rebounds. He is a grad student coming back for that extra year, as there was that extra year of eligibility due to the pandemic. But, I mean, nonetheless, this is going to be a problem for a Bridgewater State team that is continuing to try and find itself, and I think it has more questions than answers, especially when it comes to inside the paint.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, the Bears have had a little bit of trouble this season, and I think if they focus on Bryan, focus on kind of shutting him down a little bit, they'll be able to kind of see a little bit of success tonight.
Salem State's head coach, Chris Harvey, in his 15th year. And, of course, on the other side, a very familiar face for BSU fans and really anybody in Division III that follows New England basketball, Joe Faroba, in his 30th year.
Also, Bears today seeing the return of David Lane, who was out for the last few games.
So as you see the introductions, you saw the faces from Salem State. Josiah Green, Jaden Castillo, number 21. Number 23, Sean Bryan, we talked about him. We'll continue talking about him. And the Byrne brothers, Jarrett, number 35, and Connor, number 42. Meanwhile, for Bridgewater State, you heard Caitlin mention the return of David Lane. Quentin Champagne and Jordan Wetterland, I think those are two guys who are trying to make their roles here on BSU's offensive side of the ball more known as the season goes on.
Absolutely, and Wetterland had a real strong last home game, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him post up some strong numbers tonight as well.
So David Lane, Quentin Champagne, Jordan Wetterland, Justin Parsons, number 24, and number 33, Stanley Pierre-Lewis, for a Bridgewater State team looking to find its bearings coming into this game, 4-12. Salem State 10-8. If you missed the first game of this doubleheader, we talked about the big news from the MASCAC that all the teams are going to make it. And the top team in the conference, they will receive a bye in the first round. And right now, if things continue staying where they're at, Bridgewater State would actually host a first-round matchup against Fitchburg State. Obviously, still a lot of time to go. Salem State, as we speak, they are the top team in the conference, so if the season ended today, they would get a first-round bye. So it'll be Connor Byrne, and I have to imagine Stanley Pierre-Lewis jumping off. Byrne, 6'7". And oddly enough, his brother, the same height. Off and going here at the Tinsley Center on a Wednesday night. Castillo finds Bryan, guarded by Lane. Long cross-court pass to Green. Bryan lost the handle, and an early turnover for Salem State. David Lane taking it up for BSU.
It's definitely not what we expected Bryan to start off with in this game as a turnover.
Quick ball moving here. Champagne inside to Pierre-Lewis. Green looking to answer back. Misses. And it'll stay Salem State ball. And you'd have to imagine that a quick start is important here for Joe Faroba and the Bears, as they again have a lot of questions coming into this game.
Absolutely, and coming in as the underdogs, I think they really just want to explode out with a lot of energy, a lot of aggression, and kind of shock Salem into going into a deficit.
Quick ball movement. Here's Brian, double team, dumps it off for the finish to Connor Byrne. Again, BSU going inside to Pierre Lewis. Pierre Lewis, 7 points last Friday night against Framingham State. And has Bridgewater State's 4 points thus far. And that's a turnover.
Already, not even 2 minutes in, that's 2 turnovers for the Vikings. The Bears have been able to kind of capitalize on here.
Inside, again they dump it off for Pierre Lewis. Stanley Pierre Lewis 6, Salem State 2. Green misses the 3, but there's the height of Jarrett Byrne working against him over the back. Salem State and Bridgewater State historically has been a rivalry that gets a lot of attention, as these two teams have played a number of conference championship games. A lot of success between these two institutions on the court. Wetterland, here's Champagne. Lane lets it fly for 3. Connor Byrne, back to Brian. Called for steps. And we talked about it during the first game, the crowd and the noise. You can tell there's kind of that different feeling compared to some of the other games that we've had here, even with a limited number of fans.
Absolutely. It just kind of brings everyone alive, and it kind of gets, especially the home team, it gets them really fired up, and especially facing off of the first place team in the MASCAC. I think the Bears are really hoping for an upset here tonight.
Lane, a long range 3. Green looking for the answer back. He's short. Pierre Lewis comes down with a rebound. Not even 3.5 minutes in, Bridgewater State has a 10-point lead. Champagne waits for his man to fly by to take the 3. Gonna be strong. Rebound goes to Connor Byrne. Green going inside, passes out for Castillo. And almost had another turnover there. It'll be BSU basketball, 16-12 to go. And I think it's safe to say a shocking 12-2 start for BSU.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody would have predicted that this would have been the outcome after 4 minutes of play. I think everybody kind of expected the Bears to be in the deficit right now, and seeing them in the lead by this much so early on is pretty shocking.
Lane rifles a pass inside for Pierre Lewis, and 1. Foul going on Connor Byrne. Stanley Pierre Lewis, a junior, averages about 6 a game, misses the point after. As substitution, Javier Osorio in the game for Salem State, as is Juvens Lewis. Lewis for 3. Wetterland over Parsons, going to be strong. Pierre Lewis trying to fight for the rebound. Get a jump ball. It'll stay BSU basketball. Looks like a foul going on Byrne. Already the third Salem State foul.
I believe that's the second one on Jarrett Byrne tonight. The only other one being on his brother Connor.
Wetterland off the back of the rim. Quick ball moving here. And a foul going on Bridgewater State. First one tonight going on Jordan Wetterland. At the line, Devin Okawuga. Salem State suffering their first conference loss on Friday night to Worcester State 92-87. They were undefeated in the MASCAC at 6-0. And right now, coming out with a press with just under 15 to go in the first half. Lane, a high-risk pass, saved by Champagne. And they'll reset with 15 on the shot clock. Lane from the logo. Misses. Rebound goes to Connor Byrne. Lewis tries another three. Going to be short. Punched back and get a foul. I think it's going on Parsons, and it is.
Parsons has been playing real strong lately. Doesn't seem like he intended to really push him. Looks like he was just trying to gain balance back, but he also had a very strong warm-up, too. I wouldn't be surprised if we see his name called a few times tonight.
Parsons averaging about 6 a game. He is a sophomore.
Looks like there's some confusion here.
I think it had to do with something involving the possession arrow. I mean, kind of difficult to hear that far away, but nonetheless, we play on 14-6, BSU on top. Ryan guarded by Wetterland, or excuse me, Parsons. That three's going to be short. And Wetterland comes up with it, passes off to Lane. Champagne waits for his man to fly by. Max Schrout checked into the game. Strong on the shot attempt. Lewis on the baseline drive, cut off. Nice runner there by Okawuga. What was once a 10-point lead for BSU is now down to 6.
You can definitely see they sort of lost some of that offensive edge, and Stanley Pierre-Louis kind of got checked out of the game.
As Bridgewater State calls its first timeout with 13:23 to go. In the first 3.5 minutes of this game, you would think that this was some type of championship atmosphere. The way they were playing so loose, forcing the ball inside. Now it seems like Salem State's kind of showing that full court press, Ali.
Absolutely. And I think the Bears just haven't really had that opportunity to show their defense off as much because they've been playing a strong offense. And I think Salem just didn't expect it when coming in. I think they kind of had the mindset of this being sort of an easy win. And kind of having this going in and losing so far, I think is kind of surprising them a bit.
During the timeout, Parsons checked out. Alex Gonzalez checks in for his first minutes of the evening. Wetterland on the drive. And a backcourt violation. And the first turnover for BSU of the night. Andrew McKinney coming in for Wetterland. Chris McDonald checked in for the Vikings. Connor Byrne forcing his way, looking for the and one. Instead, he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Looks like it's going to be call on Max Strout, Jr. out of Abington, Massachusetts.
Byrne misses the first one, had 15 points on Friday night to go along with 11 boards and a couple of steals. On 7 of 12 shooting against the Lancers. Byrne 0 for 2 on that trip. Gonzalez for Champaign. Pierre-Louis, quick pass inside to McKinney.
We've seen this in a lot of games from the Bears. Pierre-Louis can really control down low in the offensive end. Even if he's not scoring it, he knows where to place the ball and how to get the points there.
And you have to think the assist numbers is something Joe Burrow is going to be looking at here. Now 7 assists on 7 made baskets. Compared to 2 for Salem State. Champaign was thinking 3, going inside for McKinney. Gets the loose ball. And that is turnover number 2 for BSU. 8 minutes gone in the first half. Ryan still looking for his first points of the night. Back to McDonald. McDonald lets it fly strong. Nice slide there by whoever just tried to check in. Shot's going to be short. Back the other way, that's Okauga. Inside, Byrne gets the finish. Connor Byrne, 4 points. Lane for Champaign, who's in the corner. McKinney for Pierre-Louis for the finish. Already 10 points for the junior from Roxbury. Lewis answers back with a 3. A 5-point BSU lead. McKinney dumps it off for Pierre Lewis, and a foul going on Byrne. His second.
Pierre Lewis going 0-1 for 3 free throws right now.
And hits his first free throw of the night to make it a 6-point BSU lead. Checking in is Josiah Green once again, and the 3 for McDonald will go. Parsons inside to Wetterland, pulls up in the paint, and Byrne will get the loose ball, and Salem State can tie things up with a 3. And offense. Nope, it's an and 1. Excuse me.
That's Sean Bryan with his first points of the night.
As you heard Caitlin mention earlier, earned his 4th MASCAC Player of the Week honors and his 3rd this calendar year. Parsons inside to Wetterland. Back to lane, lets it fly. Comes up short. McDonald leading the charge back the other way. Vikings wanted the foul. Bryan can't get the finish. Inside to Parsons, it'll stay BSU ball. Champagne's going to check back in. Lane's coming out. As you see Chris Harvey talking to one of the officials here. Just beat the 5 count. Gonzalez off the left side of the rim. And Salem State takes the lead. Josiah Green after starting things off with a 12-2 lead. That's what, a 19-7 run since that 12-2 start.
Yeah, and we have seen this before where the Bears take an early kind of quick run and they get all their energy out right away, and then they sort of start to fall short a bit. And one player who actually we've seen a lot of this coming from, usually not until later in the game, is actually Pierre Lewis, where he starts off really strong. He gets every rebound. He gets all these offensive opportunities, and then he just starts to slowly slow down in the game, and I think we're kind of seeing that from the whole team right now.
And something to think about here, too. We keep talking about what the year off for the MASCAC, that impact it had as far as the pandemic. You look at the roster here, there's a lot of players here that are sophomores or freshmen that are getting a key number of minutes, and you have to wonder if this is kind of just learning on the fly, and Joe Farova just kind of building for maybe 2 years down the road instead of chasing a MASCAC conference championship.
Absolutely. I think we got two pretty young teams here, which we're seeing in a lot of cases. We saw it in the women's game before this, and I think it's kind of a popular trend right now, just considering how much the pandemic really weighed on students.
Champagne back for Parsons to Gonzalez. Parsons tries a three. That's good. BSU regains the lead now, 22-21. Bryant on the drive, fall away, rattles in. Took a while for Sean Bryant to make his way into the scoring column, now has 4 points. And one for Jordan Wetterland. And that is going on Connor Byrne, his third personal. And Chris Harvey's going to pull him here with 7:43 to go in the first half. Okauga checking in for the Vikings in place of Byrne. Wetterland misses the free throw attempt. All day, all night to shoot the three. Short is Green. Inside to Wetterling, goes on the drive himself. Pierre Lewis tried to clean things up.
It's going to be a call on Champagne.
Just looking at the impact, that could have been a lot worse than a foul.
Oh, yeah.
Here's McDonald on the drive over Wetterland and one. And McDonald's going to be short, looking for his 6th point of the night. Okauga couldn't get the second effort to go. Here's a turnover. Parsons can't get the finish. It'll be Salem State ball after originally they said BSU. Looks like a good call there. So far, the undoing for Salem State, 6 turnovers in the first 13 minutes of the first half, compared to BSU, only 2 so far. Castillo on the drive, dumps it back for Bryan. Pulls up and connects. Ties Lewis now with 6. Lane was looking for Pierre Lewis. Might have been screened from the pass. And Bryan stepped on the baseline. We'll see Jabray Griffin coming in for Pierre Lewis. 3-point Vikings lead, the top team in the MASCAC. Parsons looking for the three. He's going to be short. Put back will go for McKinney. McDonald offensive. Right now, both teams 16 fouls. Inside. Here's a turnover here for the Vikings. Okauga can't get the finish. Into the hands of McKinney. Lane for Champaign. For Parsons. Short on the three-point attempt. Green with the finish, too strong. You have to wonder if maybe the moments are getting a little too big for some of these players here with some of these strong finishes that aren't falling.
Absolutely. I think kind of the energy that was going is just kind of dissipating a bit. There's a lot of frustration coming from the court.
Yeah, a technical called on Harvey. Chris Harvey just picked up a tech.
There's been a lot of frustration between Harvey and the refs so far.
Our officials tonight, Bruce Anderson, Brian Gein, and Eric Brito. I mean, not to take one side or the other here. We've kind of been listening back and forth here. There's kind of been that mix of, you know, talking about the foul and general questions. So we've kind of had that mix. You have to wonder if maybe there was just that right combination.
I think so. And there has been a lot of back and forth between Harvey and the ref that I think is kind of going back and forth. And he is saying that he's like, I didn't swear in that instance, but he did swear not too long ago. So I think kind of possibly a built-up amount of frustration kind of just came to a peak.
Worth noting here, BSU in the bonus with 4:40 to go in the first half, and that's not going to help your cause. Picking up a traveling violation, as now Salem State has a chance to add on to its 1-point advantage.
Bears bringing in Tyler Wymera, the freshman out of Kersey, Colorado.
McDonald tries his hand at a three. Chris McDonald, 8 points. And a 4-point advantage for Salem State. Parsons. Inside, McKinney strong on the attempt. Nice pass inside, blocked. But the second effort by McKinney will go. I think that was Okauga who picked up the block. McDonald picks up another three. 11 for Chris McDonald.
He's going 3 for 4 for three-pointers right now, sending him to tie in Pierre Lewis for points per game.
Turnover and a foul. Quentin Champaign, face planted on the court. You can see Chris Harvey heading over right away to check on Champaign when he hit the deck.
Yeah, it definitely looked more serious than I think it ended up being.
I think it's almost like what we said in the first game. You don't want to get hit in the face on a Wednesday night. You don't want to take a face plant on the hardwood.
Yeah, and then you sign up for it anyway.
Josiah Green misses the second free throw. Bridgewater State started off things in the first 12, 13 minutes with 2 turnovers. Now the turnover differential is 8-7. And that's going to get Joe Faroba to call a timeout with 3:33 to go.
I think the Bears do kind of tend to slip into sort of a bit of a lull after a while, and they kind of need these timeouts. They use these timeouts to kind of just reconnect, get their grounding back together, and pull themselves out of whatever rut they go into for a few minutes. So I think these timeouts really have to be used wisely by Faroba because the Bears usually need them to keep their game strong.
4 timeouts left, still with 3:33 to go in the first half. As you see, some of the fans coming out here on a Wednesday night, taking in some MASCAC action, and Joe Faroba, who won his 400th game back in December against Dean College. The 34th coach in men's basketball history in Division III to accomplish such a feat. Green steps into a 3. And he just picked up a tech. Not exactly sure if it was a celebration, but his jersey is
ripped.
It'll be Champagne at the line, shooting the technical. And Champagne misses the free throw, a 37-29 game. I'm just watching Joe Faroba, Chris Harvey go back and forth.
Yeah.
Going inside, McKinney. Too strong there, rebound for Pierre Lewis. Back to Champagne. A lot of rebounds here. We get a foul.
Looks like the foul is going to be on Brian. Yeah, on Brian for the Vikings.
Looks like it might have been when he hooked under McKinney's arm. Both teams in the bonus here, 2:44 to go in the first half. And a quick foul. You have to wonder if the referees are starting to call things a little tighter here, given the technical fouls, and you can kind of tell that things are getting a little more ramped up here in this first half.
Absolutely. I think the refs really want to kind of keep it clean and keep anyone from getting hurt, especially with still so much time left in the season, but just enough that an injury could really set any teams back.
Devin Okuwuga from Lowell, Mass., a 6'5" sophomore. Misses the front end of the 1-and-1. And a turnover, travel called. And we get a timeout called by Chris Harvey, 2:40 to go. And you can kind of see that this is a turning point here for both teams. Bridgewater State, again, starting off with a 10-point advantage in the first 4 minutes or so, but now they're down by 8, and with this upcoming possession could potentially be double digits.
Absolutely. We've seen in past games the Bears are just not very consistent in their play. They take kind of almost like minutes off of the game, and they need to kind of just get that consistency back, and they need to kind of keep driving because the Vikings are, on the other hand, much more consistent, and they keep posting up points in kind of a more faithful manner as the Bears can't keep up with that.
Two other games going on in the MASCAC tonight. Pittsburgh State, a 1-point 55-54 lead in the second half. And Westfield State is at halftime against Framingham State, 33-17. That's a game that Salem State faithful are going to have their eyes on, as Westfield State second in the MASCAC coming into tonight's action, and a travel called. Salem State and Westfield State, the only teams above 500 in overall records. McKinney was stuck there for a second. And a pass to nobody. It'll be Bridgewater State ball. Gonzalez for Champaign. Thought about a really deep three. McKinney passed into a double team. Turnover back the other way. Getting the finish is Osorio. And Salem State is up by 10 inside the final 2 minutes of this first half. Lane on the drive, too strong. Pierre Lewis was triple teamed. He beat that and won.
You can see the patience that Pierre Lewis really has, waiting for all the other players around him to fall before jumping back up.
Stanley Pierre Lewis right now leading all scorers with 13 points. This is the free throw. Still an 8-point game. Sean Bryan, who we focused on a lot in the pregame, thus far only 6 points. Make that 8 points now and one. We'll get Pierre Lewis for his first foul, and now we'll see Bryan going to the line looking for point number 9 of the night. And the one thing I look at is not just the points, but the assist numbers. Now Sean Bryan with 6 assists so far in this first half.
Yeah, and by far outweighing the rest of the assists by any other player. I think the most other is a 3, so he's doubling in assists of the next top player.
Again, Pierre Lewis leading all scorers with 13 for the Bears, and Chris McDonald off the bench with 11 points, leading the Vikings in this first half. Lane for Gonzalez. 10 on the shot clock, tipped away. Lewis with the finish off the glass. Inside to Griffin. Blocked. Off the baseline drive, blocked again. Turning into an Okaluga block party here inside the final couple minutes. He tries his hand at a 3. He's taken over in the final couple minutes of this first half. Turnover. Other way, Okaluga picks up another pair. This lead for Salem State has ballooned up to 18. And the halftime buzzer can't come soon enough for Bridgewater State. That's David Lane with a walk-off 3. David Lane showing how you end the first half. And to say that first half, Caitlin, was a roller coaster, I think would be an understatement.
Absolutely.
Starting off with a 12-2 lead, taking their foot off the pedal, and ending with, I mean, just a pure swish right in front of us.
And as much as that shot was beautiful. The stats remain, it's 49-34. The Bears really have to come out this second half better than first, and they need to really tighten up some loose corners and make some good plays here and kind of get that lead back.
We'll have some of the key numbers coming up for you in just a little bit, but something I just want to look at right away is the free throw situation for Bridgewater State. Not that Salem State's shooting lights out from the charity stripe, but 33% for Salem State from the free throw line. Bridgewater State 2 of 10, so that could be something that if things get a little closer, you start to look at. But we'll talk a little more about that coming up in just a little bit. Right now, 49-34, your score here on the Bear Sports Network, powered by BTV.
The opportunities for me as an undergraduate here at BSU are essentially limitless. I've gotten an internship, I've been going to these great classes. I've definitely been given the ability to pursue something that's so passionate and dear to me.
Back here inside the Tinsley Center, a 15-point Salem State lead, 49-34. John Luck, Caitlin Varia with you. In the first half of this game, I mean, this thing had more twists and turns than a series. As you take a look at some of the halftime stats, including a 61% performance from the field in the first half for Salem State, who initially were down by 10, 12-2, but they fought back, and Devin Okabuga just went off in the final 3 minutes of that half. Inside, Wetterlin physically dumping it off for Pierre Lewis, but can't get the finish. Stanley Pierre Lewis got the first 6 points of the night for Bridgewater State as Bryan gets called for steps. And Sean Bryan, the player who, I mean, could be the NASCAC player of the year, the way he's played, has 9 points so far to go along with 6 assists and 3 rebounds. It took a while for him to get going. Steal by Jarrett Byrne and a foul given by Parsons.
That's third foul called on Parsons tonight. They're leaving Bryan deep in the defensive end.
For Salem State, it was the fouls that got them in trouble early on. Connor Byrne picked up 3 fouls, and I think maybe, 10 or 11 minutes. It was very quick as number 35, Jarrett Byrne, adds on to the lead, now 17, and potentially more. Bryan pulls up, strong on the 2. David Lane has 9 points tonight. Inside for Wetterlands. Poked away, and it stays BSU basketball with 13 on the shot clock. For Bridgewater State, it was the turnovers that killed them in that first half, especially in the last 6 or 7 minutes. Pierre Lewis trying to time the defense, and he does. Turnover, back the other way. Parsons had that block, but Champagne there to get the putback.
And all leading off the steal from Wetterland. I think the steal game that the Bears are playing has really been disrupting Salem. And I think that's really where the Vikings were finding most of their difficulty in the first half.
Bears had the numbers for a minute. Lane short on the 3. Rebound goes to Byrne. Ryan working for that pass. Back to Green. Comes up empty on the 3, but the putback by Lewis will fall. Inside, Wetterlands misses a shot. Tipped around. Parsons gets the finish and the friendly roll. Back the other way, and one for Bryan. Sean Bryan, 11 points, and potentially one more.
Sean Bryan going 1 and 2 in free throws so far tonight.
Just a scoring threat that this player is, Sean Bryan. He's had double-digit point totals in every game since January 8th. Oddly enough, that was against BSU. Parsons, quick ball movement, and one for Wetterland.
And Juvens Lewis, the freshman out of Everett, is going to be the one to pick up that foul.
Point after falls. .13 Salem State lead. Green, cross-court pass for Lewis. Those are always dangerous. Going inside for Byrne and a foul. I believe they're going to get Wetterland on this one. Check that, David Lane actually.
David Lane with his second foul of the night.
Jared Byrne now 3 points on the night, and we talked about the free throw situation before the first half, or before halftime, and Salem State was 7 of 14. And we'll get a timeout called by Salem State. Salem State picked to win the conference this season, the preseason poll, actually tied with Westfield State, each receiving 32 first place votes. Bridgewater State picked to finish 5th. As we mentioned, Salem State one of 2 MASCAC teams to have an overall record above 500. Coming into tonight's game with a record of 10 and 8. The other team is Westfield State at 15 and 4. Westfield in second due to the conference record. They're 5 and 2 in conference play. Salem State 6 and 1. As Byrne misses a free throw, it'll be BSU basketball with 16:36 to go here in the second.
Josiah Green trying to keep it in bounds. Unable to keep his feet in.
Champagne for Parsons for 3. Defense might have been sleeping a little bit there. An 11-point game. Tipped away. Parsons had that one knocked away by Bryan. And it'll be BSU basketball. Lane directing traffic. Gets the dribble back. Wetterland coming up on 5 on the shot clock. Fall away. Bounces out. New 20. Wetterland. Lane for 3.
That is going to send Lane going 4 for 7 in 3-pointers tonight with 12 points to his name.
second Bear in double figures. There's a block. Lane pushing ahead. Parsons can't get the finish. Green tripped up, and they'll get Parsons on the foul.
That looks like that's going to be the fourth foul for Parsons.
Body slipping and sliding everywhere. Gonzalez going to check in for Parsons. Chris McDonald, who went off about halfway through that first half, going to check in at the next whistle. Byrne forcing the issue. Back to a 10-point deficit for BSU. Making some noise in the second half, though. Champagne, and there's an offensive foul. Foul on Strout. That's a fifth Bears foul already, just almost 5.5 minutes into this second half. Lewis off the baseline drive, pass to Byrne. Too strong on the putback off the glass. There's a turnover. That's what did Bridgewater State in that first half. They had 2 for a while. Now they have 15 turnovers, and that is turnover number 13 for Salem State. Here's Lane. Back to Champagne. A long three. Going to be short. Lane working in for Schrute. Gets the 2.
That's going to be the first points of the night for Trout tonight.
And Byrne can't get the answer back. Bears can cut this to a 2-possession game after being down by as many as 17. Lane, a high pass for Champagne. Back to Lane. Pulls up for the 2, and it's good. David Lane, 14 points. A little bit of noise here in the Tinsley Center. McDonald, baseline for Lewis, gets the roll. Lane back to Gonzalez. Inside to Wetterland. Up and under.
We're definitely seeing a lot of great patience from the Bears under the net. They're all really doing a great job getting those opportunities and making them worth it too.
Ryan bumps into his own defender. Akawuga strong on the 3. The Bears were up by 10. They've been down by 17. And with a 3, they can certainly make a lot of difference. Wetterling goes for the 2. That's good. And a timeout by Salem State. Bridgewater State's not done yet. Down by 4 with 11:44 to go. And you mentioned it's the patience that may have made the difference in, I mean, maybe what, the past 4 or 5 minutes alone.
Absolutely, because you're just seeing them know to wait and know to kind of take their second with the ball before going back up into traffic. But you don't see it as much in their defense. You're seeing it a lot in their offense, but on their defense, they're just kind of flying past whoever's shooting. They're letting them take their time with it and kind of giving them an open lane after just trampling right through.
Right now, Lewis and Bryan tied for 12 apiece. For the top scorers for Salem State, McDonald has 11, again off the bench. Bridgewater State led by Stanley Pierre Lewis with 15 points.
And Pierre Lewis, we haven't seen much of this game. He hasn't been playing very often to make his 15 points very impressive.
We say 15 points, not really impressive, but don't forget he also did score the first 6 points of the game. So really since about 18 minutes in the first half, he's had 9. Obviously going to be a key part of this game if the BSU is looking to get a big victory. So McKinney's coming in. McDonald had that pass tipped away. Osorio passes. Okawuga for 3. Lane going inside to McKinney. Over his man. Comes up short. Osorio. Okawuga back to Osorio. Inside the paint. Throws up a prayer. It falls.
Osorio for his first free throws of the night.
Bridgewater State 16 fouls. 10:40 to go in the second half. Salem State only 1 team foul so far. Inside for Wetterland. Back to Lane. Tries a 3. Strong. Back to Strout. And to Joe Faroba, and that's an issue because he's the coach. Well, I'm sure he could try and put up a couple threes if he wanted.
I bet he could.
Here's a 3 on the way for McDonald, and he continues catching fire off the bench. Very dangerous passes here by Bridgewater State. Back to Champaign. Short on the 3. Past the halfway point of the second half. Inside Burns short, second effort won't fall. Ball finds Wetterland. Back to Parsons. Strong on the 3. Right now BSU 6 of 17 from the 3-point line. Salem State 10 of 20.
Bears have really been kind of starting to play a little recklessly than this past minute or so. They've been kind of making longer passes, doing all their shooting from out wide. And I think right now with the deficit that they're feeling, I think they got to kind of rely more on playing down low, focusing on maybe Wetterland and now Pierre Lewis, who's down there.
Joe Faroba has to burn another timeout with 9:22 to go. Just 2 timeouts remaining. And you talk about the deficit, just a 12-point game. And we've seen Bridgewater State bounce back and score very quickly in bunches.
It is one of those things where once the Bears kind of get going, once they get their drive, they are pretty much unstoppable. But it's once they get one little hiccup, they kind of fall back into their lull. But once they get moving, they can't really be stopped.
If you were with us for the first game, you heard us mention a few times the fact that BSU's women's basketball team is playing Salem State in a true back-to-back on back-to-back days. Salem State and Bridgewater State already played a game in Salem back on the 8th. So BSU, after tonight's game, doesn't play again until the 5th. Then they play again the following Saturday. So a week off, if I'm looking at the schedule right.
And then right from there, they have pretty much every other day is a game. So they're going to have a week of probably some difficult practices from Faroba before kind of going straight into a solid game mode before going into the tournament.
Again, Bridgewater State coming into tonight's matchup 4-12, and they could still host a first-round game in the MASCAC tournament. Parsons pulls up for the 2, and he gets fouled by Connor Byrne. I think that's going to be foul number 4 on Byrne. And that is the case.
Looks like Connor Byrne and Justin Parsons are really the only 2 players who are going to possibly be seeing some fouling problems, both with 4.
Parsons so far tonight, 8 points. Missed his only free throw attempt, as you just saw. So as you heard Caitlin mention, Connor Byrne has 4 fouls, Parsons has 4 fouls, Max Schrout has 3 fouls, and everybody else either has 0 to 2 fouls. McDonald misses the 3. And Champaign tried forcing the issue, ends up being Salem State ball. And they're going to say Okawuga stepped on the sideline. So the 15th turnover now for Chris Harvey's team. Nice bounce pass to Champaign on the drive. Nice finish there by Quentin Champaign. Osorio to Bryan. And they're going to get Wetterland with a foul. Osorio was basically left uncontested. Passes off for Bryan, up and under. Too strong. It'll be Salem State ball, but 5 seconds on the shot clock. Bryan inbounds, Osorio. Byrne. And as the shot clock was going to expire, McDonald stepped on the sideline. I could hear the coaching staff say that they wish the court was wider. I mean, as a Celtics fan, I wish that was the case, because Jaylen Brown would be the best three-point scorer in the league, but maybe that's a stretch.
That is the third time a Vikings player has just stepped out of bounds. So I don't blame them for their frustration.
Champagne guarded by McDonald. Nice pass inside. Pierre Lewis timing the jump. Wetterling can't get the in one. We'll get Okuuga for his first foul. Wetterling looking for a double-digit point total here tonight. Has 9 points to go along with 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Green checking back in for Osorio for Salem State. A 69-62 game.
Wetterland now in double digits, getting 10 points.
Sean Bryant, deep three is good. You don't want him getting going if you're Bridgewater State.
And that does send Bryant up to lead for the game, I believe, in points. Actually, he's tied with Pierre Lewis, but he's leading for the Vikings.
Wetterling gets 2 back. Back to an 8-point deficit. Still plenty of time here, just under 7 minutes to go. Green pulls up, can't bank it in. Clean look for Byrne, will fall. Jarrett Byrne now 5 points. Inside Wetterland, simple 2.
We see that a lot from Wetterland, kind of just getting down low, making the easy shots, and it's really kind of added up to the point where he's a extremely valuable player for this Bears team.
This could be a problem for BSU if Sean Bryant's hitting shots from right in front of us. Now 18 points. Green rattles it in. Salem State feeling it now with 5:40 to go. And Joe Varoba calls a timeout. The Vikings are getting warmed up. And obviously, you've called a lot more games than I had this season with this roster that we see on the screen right now. You talk about kind of that comfortable ability, kind of that comfort region that they can take those shots. Are they kind of shooting outside of where they're comfortable in shooting in, trying to force that issue a little more?
They typically do go for the three-pointers, but I think tonight they're just not landing as much as they want them to, and I think the Bears would probably see some more success kind of following almost like the Wetterland method, where he's kind of focusing on staying down low, getting the easy shots, and I think kind of doing that would kind of bring them a lot more success than kind of staying with those three-point land. And then I think kind of just focusing on keeping the Vikings out on the in the perimeter of the offense, I think should also be a real priority for them, as we just saw getting an insane amount of three-pointers in just a few seconds right there.
Sean Bryant was in single-digit points for most of this game, and I mean, he hit three-point shots from Bristico pretty much, so 18 points, now leading all scorers. Parsons inside to Wetterland. And I think they'll get Okawuga with the foul, and they will. 4th team foul for Salem State, rather. Quick pass to Champagne. Misses what would have been a huge three. Now Salem State potentially trying to kill off a little bit of clock here, approaching 5 minutes to go, and we get a foul underneath the basket. They'll get Bryan, his 3rd. I think you're getting close to kind of a now or never situation for BSU as Pierre Lewis banks it home. A 12-point deficit now, 80-68. Up to 17 now for number 33. Bryan dumps it off. Okawuga.
That'll send Okawuga up to 14 points tonight.
Quick pass to Wetterland, flies it in. 56% Salem State from the 3-point line. Bridgewater State just 33%. Pass over to McDonald, and that's a turnover. Turnover number 18 for Chris Harvey's crew. So he'll get Connor Byrne in with his 4 fouls, but 4:11 to go. At this point, looking for that closeout call, as Byrne has 10 rebounds to go along with 6 points. Inside to Wetterland, will take the short jumper. Inside 4 minutes to go. Green on the drive, and a foul. We'll get Shrout for the 4th foul. It is foul number 4.
He's going to put Shrout and Parsons into dangerous territory with their fouls, along with Connor Byrne and Devin Okawuga.
Josiah Green at the line, 10 points so far. 3 of 11 shooting and 4 assists. And an 0 for 2 trip at the free throw line. Still looking at a 4-possession game. Wetterland can't get the fancy roll. On the drive. Salem State turns things over. Champagne gets the roll. Here's Bryan. Takes it off the glass. Up to 20 now. Cross-court pass to Champagne. Was looking for the foul. Shrout gets fouled. And that's the one thing right now. If you're Salem State, you don't want to see. You don't want to give Bridgewater State an opportunity to get these points when that clock isn't moving.
Shrout with his first 2 free throws of the night.
Back to a 3-possession game now, 85-76. 2.5 to go. Crossing up Parsons. Bryan with a fancy handle. Gets it back, lets it fly. Comes up short. But a fresh 20. And we'll go inside the 2 minutes to go here at the Tinsley Center. Lewis. And I think they're going to get Wetterlin with it. Oh, offensive foul, rather. Parsons has that pass tipped away by Bryan. And Bryan gets tripped up, and we're starting to figure out the final decision here. Have to hope Bryan gets up, and he does.
Bears bringing in Gonzalez to the game. Taking out Parsons. No fouls.
Sean Bryan 2 of 3 from the free throw line tonight. Make it 3 of 4. 21 points, 8 assists, and 3 rebounds. Don't forget, back earlier this month, he had a triple-double against the Bears. Get an official timeout here to work on Bryan, who has a cut, they're saying.
Yeah.
I think when we look back at this game, this thing, as I've mentioned a few times, has had so many different directions. You think about that 10-point lead for Bridgewater State, then Salem State charges back, as I'm sure everybody thought they would, but then you go ahead and have Salem State take a 17-point lead. That gets dwindled back to a 1-possession game. Bridgewater State makes it close. Now a 10-point game, potentially more pending this free throw from Sean Bryan.
It's definitely been all ups and downs for everyone. Lots of frustration kind of coming out, and then kind of even in the moments of glory, they're everybody's just kind of fighting with one another. It's been very dramatic, as you can see.
Our crew tonight on camera: Jeff Fowler, Mark Dean. In the truck we have Mike Moriello and Mary Evers. Salem State looks like they're about 1:40 away from their 11th win on the season as Bryan gets the roll. Osorio checks in for McDonald. Bryan has 22 points, leading all scorers. But again, it's the turnovers that became an issue for Bridgewater State.
Wetterlin stopped himself short there.
Wayne stuck. Final 80 seconds here. Champaign can't get it to go. And a foul given by David Lane. Has the possibility to put a capper on the night.
David Lane only with his second foul tonight. Looks like he's staying in.
So Salem State's going to continue keeping pace in the MASCAC standings. Westfield State picks up the 77-49 win over Framingham State, but obviously with a win here by the Vikings, they will remain the top team. And MCLA winners over Fitchburg State 74-64. MASCAC on break until Saturday. And it should be interesting to watch, not just Bridgewater State, but all the other teams jockeying for position now that we know that everyone's going to make it, and it's just going to turn into who hosts when on that Tuesday night in the last full week of February. Wetterlands off the spinner. Nice shot there by Jordan Wetterlands. 19 points. Brian fouled by David Lane. Brian makes it a 25-point performance, potentially looking for point number 26 here with 44.9, and a player who, as we've said, wouldn't really be a big surprise being the MASCAC Player of the Year when things are all said and done. On the drive, Champagne will look for his final couple points on the night. Quentin Champagne becoming that constant scorer for BSU. He's not going to take over the game, but still averaging about double-digit points a game over the past few.
Yeah, and noting that he's also only a freshman out of Wrentham, Massachusetts. He has a few years left here in this program, and I think he's going to definitely become a big leader on the team, both in just terms of team morale as well as points already starting in his first year.
Averaging about 8 points a game and a 40% field goal shooter. And a foul given by Gonzalez, 31.7, and a 10-point game.
Brian so far, 80% for free throws.
Get a late sub here, and Bridgewater State on the road against Worcester State coming up this Saturday, and they'll be back here at the Tinsley Center a week from Saturday against Westfield State. As Bridgewater State could potentially play spoiler to some of these top teams in the MASCAC, as Champagne adds on another made field goal, and we continue the Salem State free throw contest with 22.2. To imagine if we keep having these free throws, more and more snow will just eat away outside. It's kind of foggy out there. As we're watching free throws, it's probably a good time for a weather forecast. You know. Get some ice in here on Friday. Champagne into the paint, trying to force the issue. Gets it to go. And another foul given by David Lane. That'll be his fourth.
Really no way to hide that one. David Lane was holding on to him with both hands there.
Sean Bryan, 9 of 12 now from the free throw line, 27 points. And that is going to be the capper on the night. Nonetheless, a valiant effort put together by Bridgewater State. A lot of people probably looked at this matchup. You're talking about a 4-12 team in Bridgewater State taking on a 10-8 team in Salem State. And you would have thought this was going to be a 30-point walkout or a blowout. Oh, yeah. But Bridgewater State did come to play today. But on this day, Salem State is the better team with the 93-84 victory. Led by Sean Bryan's 27 points. Chris McDonald and Devin Okawuga had 14 points. Rubens Lewis, 13 points. But for BSU, Jordan Weatherland leading the team with 19 points. Stanley Pierre-Lewis with 17. Finally, Caitlin, what are some of your takeaways?
I think it was really interesting to kind of see how Sean Bryan sort of had to warm up almost throughout the game. But once he warmed up, he was in it, and he was a big player. I would not be surprised to see him as player of the year this season.
So the final push for the playoffs is on for Bridgewater State. Again, they are on the road this Saturday at Worcester State, then back home here at the Tinsley Center a week from Saturday against Westfield State. Thank you for watching here from the Tinsley Center on the Bear Sports Network. For Caitlin Varia, I'm John Luck. We'll talk to you later.